What's up guys, this is Chris here, and today we're going to be doing a fun video. Today we're going to be looking back in the past and talking about one of my favorite guns of all time, the mighty Glock 34. One of my first guns that ever got me into race pistols. A gun that was just a longer barreled version of the gun I'd already shot many times, the Glock 17. And once I got this thing, I got the itch to go fast, and here we are. 15 years later. We've been doing an awful lot of super guns on the channel. It's been kind of race gun summer. It's supposed to be 1911 summer, but it turned more into just everything that goes fast summer, so I figured it fit. This is the premier offering of Glock after all, and it is the gun that you go to if you want to go fast, if you like Glock. And I wanted to show my newest version here, which I just picked up because I haven't had a sort of stock version in a very long time, and show off some of the accessories that I've put on it recently. I also want to talk about it compared to the OG Glock 34, which I'm sure you've seen on the channel if you've been subscribed for a while. This gun has literally thousands of rounds through it. You can tell too how beat up it is, and one of the most shot guns I've ever owned. Before we get into the video though, I want to thank the sponsors of this video, Tag Precision Sights and Handle It Grips, both of which we'll be talking about here in a minute. Now the Glock 34 is a very durable and reliable firearm. Let's get that out of the way. I have multiple 1,000-round reviews on multiple versions of these guns, and they run great. They are very reliable, and that's really good too, because a lot of times when we change the slide mass, we add a lot of weight up on the top. A lot of companies skimp out and they don't redesign the gun specifically for that, and you end up having a lot of malfunctions. Whereas the Glock 34, you will not have that. The 34 has a 5.5-inch barrel. It is chambered in 9mm, and it takes the same magazines as your Glock 17. So if you're a Glock 17 fan and you want to run iron sights, have a little bit more sight radius, or if you want to run a gun with optics that has a little bit less recoil, then this is your go-to girl. The Gen 5 features the standard old school Glock sights, which we have switched out for the new Tag Precision. It runs the optics mount that the Glock MOS system has always run, and the Glock does come with 4 plates out of the box. We have Glock's light rail, which takes most weapon lights, standard striker fired trigger. Then we have Glock's grip, and then I also have the Handle It grips on there, which I think look pretty sweet. And then we have the beaver tail for the extended backstrap, because I got big ass hands. The Glock comes with sort of an included magwell and basic bare bones features, which works just fine. Now, one of the selling points of the Glock is, first off, it has the same form and feature set that all the other Glock Gen 5s have. So if you carry a 19 for concealed carry, or you carry a 19X for duty, or a 17 for duty, you can get right into this and USPSA or IPSC your way to your wildest dreams, which is very nice. The other thing is it's got a reputation for reliability, durability, so it's a competition gun that you can guarantee your life on, and you can keep it for a home defense gun, and dual purpose is great. But the third thing the 34 does super well is it's ultra lightweight, especially for a gun this size, so lots of people actually do carry these. Now it has quite the long barrel and slides, so you probably don't want to carry an appendix. You're going to be poking shit that doesn't really like to be poked, but if you carry this at the 3 o'clock position, or you carry it in an outside the waistband holster, this is going to be your friend because it's ultra lightweight, packs a great capacity with a good caliber, and it's super accurate. Now one of the ways that the Glock 34 is let down a little bit by its peer group is that it hasn't really changed its feature set all that much over the past couple of decades, which is why Glock accessories are so popular. So most people, the first thing they switch out, even on a stock Glock, is they switch the sights, which I obviously have done. I prefer a blacked out rear with serrations for no glare, and then I prefer a fiber optic front with a red fiber optic. I actually don't like the green because for some reason I can't pick them up, but these are Tag Precision sights, so you can get any sight picture you want. They actually sent me these. I wasn't initially sure I would like them, but I grew to love them really quick, which is why you're seeing them on the video. They have a little bit higher sight picture than the old school like Dawson Precision sights that I used to use, and on top of that they have a little bit lower price as well. These are only $60 for the sight set, and that's pretty excellent in my opinion. The front sight is a little bit more well built than you normally see, with a fiber optic front as well, so no fiber optic rod breakages as of yet, although I guarantee it'll happen eventually. If you run fiber optic sights, just keep these vials and you can cut them with a scissors and secure them with a lighter, and you're good to go. They have a ledge on the back here as well, so if you want to run it off your belt or your big toe or even off your hand, you can do that. They don't just have fiber optic either, they have night sights, they have blacked out backup sights for your red dot, suppressor suppressor height sights, whatever you want. I would recommend them. We've been running a couple different sets of these so far, and I like them. There's actually a link in the description below if you're interested. Now, another thing that people do a lot instead of just run sights is they run an optic. And on the 34, that's great because it actually comes with 4 optic plates, and you can choose Trijicon, you can choose Leopold, you can get a shitty optic. No, I'm kidding. But I would recommend, honestly, getting the agency arms plate or looking at something like this, which is the Radian plate. It's actually lighter than the stock Glock plate. It's more durable as well, and it has some protection for your completely invulnerable RMR. Okay, but seriously, it is a superior plate in my opinion, although it's not free, but it is nice the Glock does come with one. Now, the second thing people generally do is they do grip modification. Now, that usually includes stippling. Another thing that I like to do is silicone carbide. I think this was done by Legion Precision, but it was kind of expensive and it took a while. And honestly, you can do silicone carbide yourself and it gives you immediate traction just like that. Now, why would you want traction? Well, you would want it to hold the gun in your hand over recoil, which is one of the big knocks of the 34 by comparison to, well, competition guns in general. But one of the ways I want to talk about today is going to be the handle it grips, who I was very suspicious about initially because I'm a big Talon grips fan. These caught my eye because they look like stippling and it's very cool. These are their Edge edition and it's the most aggressive texture I've ever had on a stick-on grip, and I'm really impressed by how it feels, and I'm really impressed by the recoil control that you actually get out of it. It's not sandpaper grip like the Talon grips or kind of in the middle of the road rubber. These are a little bit different and they feel very unique. They also look a little better too, in my opinion, so I figured it would be worth telling you about. Now, they have rubber, sandpaper, and these as well, but personally, I really like these. That's why I'm actually running them on both of my Glocks that I've been shooting lately. Company's also veteran owned and operated, so check them out if you're interested. Use coupon code HONEST for 25% off. Now, one of the things I like about the Gen 5 is, in my opinion, the gun shoots the best. It has a dual recoil spring like the Gen 4, and on top of that, you get the backstraps, which is really a must for me with a Glock, because without the backstraps, I had a harder time shooting the Gen 3s because the backstrap actually changes my trigger reach a great deal. So my trigger finger actually drops on the trigger exactly where I want it, whereas without the backstrap, I'm way in there, and it makes me shoot low and left a lot more than I should because I kind of have shitty trigger control and a good grip, and it is what it is. Now, the Glock 34, I would say, is one of the most iconic competition guns, but I would say it's one of the most underrated self-defense and home defense guns. I think this is probably one of the best self-defense pistols a human being can buy on the planet. It has really, really good reliability, good accuracy, and speed because of that long barrel, and it comes with the Glock name, which people love. It comes with the Glock Silhouette, which people know. It has cheap magazines, cheap accessories, and these things are literally available anywhere. I live in rural Iowa, and when I went to go pick one of these up, I didn't have to call anybody. I knew one would be there, and honestly, that's a big plus because some bougie guns are great, but it's so hard to track them down, and those things are extremely difficult to get. And if you're getting into your first home defense gun, you just want to get something that's at the gun store that you can pick up and carry and hold, and something that has been time tested over literally generations at this point, and you know works. And in my opinion, that's the Glock 34. I also have a real love for it because of how it looks. I know a lot of people don't like the way that the Glock looks, but the 34, for me in particular, especially since John Wick 2, I just really like how it looks. I think they look even better with this butler cut. Now, if you just want the base accessories on a Glock 34, you can go that route, and I think this, if you want like a home defense gun, this is a really good way to go. If you want a competition gun where you're not going to be spending half your time doing malfunction clearances, this is a good way to go. But if you want to bougie the bad boy up, take a look at this guy. So first off, we are running the SRO with the Ameriglow sights, which I also really do love. We have Jaegerworks slide work on here. I actually had this package done like, man, almost 7 or 8 years ago now, and the thing still holds up really well. We have the Butler cut on there, which I absolutely love from the Terran Tactical series. Jaegerworks does that as well. I did my own stippling on the thumb rest, which I would not recommend unless you are artistically inclined, because it looks like shit, but we are where we are. I can't undo it. We have a Hive magazine release, which I love. I love the feel of it, but one of the downsides to the Hive magazine release is that I'm running plastic magazines with a metal magazine release, and that will wear down your magazines over time, so be aware of that also. I have my undercut grip here, which I do with a Dremel because I have big hands, and over a long-term amount of shooting, like let's say I put 500 or even 1,000 rounds down in a single day, this is gonna rub my knuckle raw, which is why I often take that off, and you can literally do that for free. I would be careful though, because if you cut through this, that's a wrap. You have to remember when you're doing framework on a Glock, it's not a SIG 320, it's not a 365, it's not an APX, so that is the firearm. So be aware that if you fuck that up, you're gonna regret it. Me and the 34 have a lot of history, we have a lot of track record, and I will continue to buy them. Once there is a Gen 6 and a Gen 7, which there inevitably will be, I will buy those as well. Is it for a new shooter, let's say, a gun that's like $650 to $700, which has less features than, let's say, a PDP or a P10F? I would argue no. If you're getting into guns for the first time, I think there are more feature-filled options. However, are there more reliable options? Are there more known options? No, there are not. These are gonna have the most accessories, these are gonna be the most available, and they're gonna have the best track record of any of the guns that you'll have in the gun store. And a lot of times that'll just make you feel confident when carrying it or having it at your house, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Do you own a Glock 34? Would you buy one now? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please support local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.